Hello everyone, Lisa from Epic Yarn Gems, and today I am going to be showing you how to make a crochet flower. These cute little flowers can be used to decorate on hats, or you can just use them on their own. They're nice little embellishments that can be used. These ones here I made a while ago, and this is the flower that I am going to show you how to make. So without any further ado, let's get started. To start off, you are just going to do a slip knot. Do that however works best for you. And then you are going to do a chain 5. For this demonstration, I used just a swatch of leftover yarn. It's a 4 medium weight, and I just used my 4.5 or G plus hook. And we are going to do a slip stitch join with that first stitch. I went under both strands. You can do it one strand, whatever works best for you, and you just do a slip stitch join. Now what you are going to do for your steps 2 is you made a little hole in the circle there when you brought it back around, and you are going to start off with a chain 3. This chain 3 represents a single crochet and a chain 2, so it's the start. Then you're going to go into the center of that circle we made. We are going to do a single crochet and a chain 2. We're going to go back into the center of that circle, and we're going to do a single crochet and a chain 2 again. You are going to do this a total of 6 times, and you can do this different ways, but I do it this way just because it looks a little better to me. But you can put as many in here as you want, just to make the center of your flower as full or as I guess sparse or loose as you want. And then when you get done putting, in this case, 6 of those single crochets chain twos, you're just going to do a slip stitch join into the chain that you started with. So that was the chain 2. And after you do this, your work should look something like this. It has all of the single crochets and the chain twos all the way around, and it just has those spacings, and those chain 2 are where you're going to be working in next. So for step number 3, what we're going to do is we're going to do a chain 2, which will be a single crochet chain 1. That's what it represents, and we're going to go into that first open space made by that chain 2, and we are going to put in there 3 double crochets all into that same opening that was from the chain 2 in the previous round. Then you're going to do a chain 1, and you will do a single crochet all in that same opening, and that's going to give that petal more of a rounded look on the end. And then you're going to go to the next chain 2 opening, and you are going to do a single crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochets into that same area, chain 1, and a single crochet. You are going to do that a total of 4 times. That's not including that first one we did. So you will have a total of 5 petals. Now you're probably wondering and saying, hey, what I did is when I did my chain 2 spaces, there was more than 5 openings. You're correct. And you're just going to have to kind of feel around and pick where you think the petals look best in those chain twos, because you have more openings than you have making these petals. So if you do all of them, it does get a little bunched up. So you're just going to move around, see where those chain 2 spaces are, and you're going to put that pattern in there. That pattern being single crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet, chain 1, single crochet. And once you have completed that and you have 5 petals, the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to do a slip stitch join with that very first petal that you had started, or that chain at the very beginning. That was that chain 2. You're going to want to get towards the bottom so that it makes a little dip, so it does look more like petals, but that's what you're going to do, is you're just going to keep going around, and then at the end you're going to join it. And next we're going to be moving on to our next step, and we're going to flip our work over because we're going to be working on the back side now. So you just did that slip stitch join, and you're going to turn your project over, and you're going to do a chain 1. After the chain 1, in that very first post, I guess, single crochet post that was from the previous round, you are going to go into there and you're going to do a single crochet. So let's look at it a little closer. We're in that post and we're going to do a single crochet. Now what you're going to do is you're going to do a chain 4, and you're going to attach that chain 4 to the next post, that single crochet post from the original rounds, and you are going to do a single crochet, chain 4, and you're going to do that all the way around 7 times. Then once you get to the very beginning, what you're going to do is you are going to do a slip stitch join. Apparently the close-up I don't do very well with. I'm going to have to practice that a little bit more, but you kind of get the gist of it. So this is where we had those 7 posts, um, and this is where you're going to use that. You didn't use it in that first round of those 5 petals, so it's not going to be completely even, unlike, or it is like flowers in nature. You know, they're not perfect. You can put where you want those first couple petals. It might look a little off. It may not be perfectly centered, but that's kind of how flowers are. So the next thing that we're going to do is, like I said, once you get back to the very beginning, you are going to do a join. And with that join, what it's going to do is it's going to make a back. Your back is going to have connection to the actual flower, but it's going to have all these open spaces that were made by those chain 4s. We're going to be using those next chain 4 spaces now and moving forward. The one thing I do want to make note of is I just did 2 rounds of the 7 petals. You can do as many as you want. You can make your flower as big or as small as you want. This is just an example of how I have done it for this demonstration. So once we finished up with those chain 4s, what this is going to look like is, I flipped it over here and you can see it almost looks like a flower on the back as well, right? Now we are going to be moving on to our next step, which is step 5. And in step 5, you are going to start with a chain 2. This chain 2 represents a single crochet and a chain 1. And then we're going to go into that open space created by those 4 chains that we made from the previous round. And we are going to put 4 double crochets in there. This is one more than what we did in the first round of petals, and this is just to make our petals a little bigger and a little more full as we move along. So after putting those 4 double crochets, you are going to chain 1 and put a single crochet in that exact same spot. So you're probably going, this is very similar to the first pattern row, and you are absolutely correct. It is pretty much identical. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go into that next opening created by that chain 4, and we are going to do a single crochet, chain 1, 4 double crochets, chain 1, single crochet, all in that opening. And you are going to repeat that in all of those chain 4 openings. It will be a total of 6 times once you make your way all the way around. After you complete that, this is what you will look like with your first full row of 7 petals on your flower. Then we'll go on to step 6. In step 6, you are going to chain 1, and around that post from the previous row, you are going to do a single crochet. Then you're going to do a chain 4, and then you are going to repeat that with each of the posts. And you're going to do that single crochet, which is what attaches it to that post, in chain 4, which makes the openings to do the petals for the next row. So what you're going to do is you're going to be alternating between the row 4 and 5, but with each of the second rows where you put the double crochets, you're going to increase by 1. So you are just going to continue to do this all the way around, making that kind of that base for your next row of petals. And you can push down your petals so that you can see the posts a little bit better, but you're just going to wrap around those posts. And as you can see from this row, it's a little easier to see them. And the larger you make your flower, the easier it is to see those posts. They kind of just pop up. So you're just going to want to make sure that you go around that post. And you will do that all the way around. And then what you're going to do is you're going to slip stitch join with that very first chain or that single crochet that you did, just to close it off. And we are going to go on to step 7, which is pretty much just a repeat of step 5. You're going to do a chain 2, and then in that first opening, now this time you're going to do 5 double crochets in that opening. Again, this is making that petal a little bit bigger. And you are going to do a chain 1 at the end, single crochet. Once you get to the next chain 4 opening, you are going to do single crochet, chain 1, 5 double crochets, chain 1, single crochet, and you're going to do that 6 more times, and then you will just do a slip stitch join. If you want to continue to make your flower bigger and bigger, you are just going to repeat, like I said, steps 4 and 5. And on that second step where you do what we're doing here with those double crochets, we're putting 5 in this round. So if you were to continue the next round, you would do 6 and 7 and so forth. But that is really the entire pattern. Pretty easy once you get going, and you can see this is what the back will look like. And it's kind of pretty on the back too. Then when you finish, all you're going to do is you are going to um, do a slip stitch join and tie off your yarn. What I like to do after I tie it off, I like to weave it in a little towards the middle, because sometimes I use those extra strands to tie it on to whatever work I'm doing. But you just want to make sure that it's secure and that it's not going to come off. So I hope you've really enjoyed this project. I used to do these little flowers a lot. I haven't done them in a while, but I think I'm going to start doing them again because they are pretty cute to add to a little headband or a hat or something along that lines. So there you go. There is your flower with 3 rows. As always, I want to thank you all for joining me and your support of Epic Yarn Gems. I hope you stop by again. And as always, peace, love, and happiness to you all. Stay safe and take care.